Welcome to today's episode of Reading Between the Lines. Today, I'd like to talk to you about our conscious choice versus our unconscious reaction. Life has a way of throwing curveballs at us, doesn't it? John 16:33, Jesus actually tells us that we will have troubles. There is simply no way to get out of it. We will have troubles in this life, but we do have a choice about them. So, first question I would kind of like to ask you is, does it seem like you have more than your share of troubles? I know you probably won't like my answer to that, but if you do, it's probably because you're focusing on your problems every day instead of on where you're headed. Focusing on problems only brings more problems. You have a choice. I have a choice, and I'm still learning to do this myself. We have a choice of where we put our focus every day. We can be focusing on problems that are coming into our life, or we can be focused on the goals that we have set for our lives and what we need to do to accomplish those goals. Our focus affects what comes into our lives in the days and weeks ahead. And like I said, we have a choice. I have a perfect example for you. The day I planned to record this episode, I was in a meeting at, middle of the day, and there was this loud bang, and my monitor went black. Well, doesn't take a genius to know power went out. And I knew that it was not going to be restored anytime soon because that loud bang to me said, oh, a transformer has blown. Well, I had a choice, didn't I? I could have gotten all upset and moaned and groaned and, a lot, which a lot of people might have. It's like, oh man, I was in the middle of a meeting and I planned to record my podcast this afternoon and I was going to write on my book or I was going to upload my blog. Any number of excuses would be available, moaning and groaning about the power. But what does that moaning and groaning accomplish? It only accomplishes putting us in a bad mood. It doesn't solve the problem, does it? Well, because I'm learning all of this, I made a choice. I realized that, okay, yes, I was in a meeting. Fortunately, I was not hosting the meeting. I was merely attending the meeting. And so I was able to just completely let that go and knew that I could go back later on and watch a recording. So I got up. I asked my son if he had heard the noise because there are times when I hear things that really aren't there. But he had, so I called the power department to let them know that our power had gone out. I got an AI recorded message that pinpointed my address and then actually gave me an estimated time that the power would be restored, which was 2.5 hours from the time when I called. And I thought, okay, well, that's great. That's only 2.5 hours. That still left me time to still get my podcast recorded. It could have been days, right? It could have been days. So 2 hours, no biggie. And in those 2 hours, it allowed me to get something else done that still needed to be done that didn't require my computer. So when troubles come our way, we have a choice at how we look at these. First, we can view these troubles as the learning opportunities that they truly are. There is something in that event that we need to learn because we are going to need that skill at a later date. Yes, I know that probably sounds a little odd, but it's true. Second, we can stop and consciously think about what just happened instead of unconsciously reacting. Again, the unconscious reaction would have been, oh man, the power just went out. How long is it going to be out? What about my refrigerator? What about the food in my freezer? How am I going to get my work done? Because everything I do is done on the computer. There again, that accomplishes nothing positive, does it? It does not take you forward toward your goals. It just gets you upset. Might even raise your blood pressure a little bit, and that's nothing that any of us need. A lot of us would also turn to the blame game. Like, man, the power company screwed up again, right? Doesn't matter what the problem might be, we find someone to blame. He did it, she did it. And while blaming someone else takes the responsibility for those things off of you, what it really does is it puts someone else in control of your life. Stop and think about that. When you blame someone or something else for things that go wrong in your life, you are giving those people or those things control over your life. Is that really what you intend to do? Is that really what you want? Or wouldn't you rather be in control of your life by making the choices for yourself of what you want to be, do, or have? You do have that kind of power in your life, and it's called choice. You have the power to make choices. It's something that yes, I'm still learning to do for myself. We may think that we are making choices for our life, but what we're really doing is choosing the options that the world has thrown at us. You can do this or this. Oh, well, I'll do that. But is that really what you want to do in your life? Right? When troubles come our way, we do not have to get upset. Our unconscious reaction is probably just that. And it's that because that's all we've seen modeled in our life when we were growing up. Maybe people even told you it was wrong to be happy when your sister got punched, right? We have built-in patterns of how we're supposed to react to certain things. Those things were learned when we were children, and we carry them into adulthood without realizing. But you can stop today and begin to make a conscious choice instead of unconsciously reacting to the troubles that come into your life. I want to encourage you by telling you how Jesus explained how we should respond to the troubles that come into our life. Again, back to John 16:33. Jesus said, "Be of good cheer." Like, how are we supposed to be happy about something bad that happened? Well, things that happen are neither bad nor good. We make that choice. We make that decision. Jesus says, "Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world." Jesus has overcome the world, and he has a solution for all the things that come into our lives. We need to look to him and ask him for the answers. Be encouraged today. Make conscious choices instead of unconsciously reacting to the things that come into your life every day. Until next time, let's carry on the conversation over at my Facebook page, Deborah L. Butterfield /author. I'll see you there.